Okay, so now we're coming back here to our user input, but before we do that, let's write something else here. Reserves and names a memory location. So that's something you really have to understand is going on. So this reserves and names a memory location. Of course, we've already done that over here in the computer memory. We've reserved them and named them because of the code on line 15 through 20 that caused this to happen. Okay, so the user down here types Bob and hits enter. The next thing that kicks into gear is this line of code. Now we don't see anything going on, but something is happening, and it's whatever this code tells the compiler to do. Now before we get to that part, let's discuss this. These are the same ideas. There's going to be, what, I can't remember, 6 of them or something like that. And so what's going to happen is this is called an assignment. So this is called an assignment. Now I'm going to put over here assignment. I can't type right now. Assignment operator. So what you should do is indicate that this right here is called an assignment operator. Now, an operator is something that performs an action. So, you know, if you operate your TV, you're turning the TV on, you're changing channels, you're operating it. Okay, so the assignment operator operates an assignment. And so what you should put in here is it stores data in the named memory location or variable. So this stores something inside of a variable. And you should know which variable it is, because it tells you right on that line. This is where, right here, sibname2 is what's going to be. It's going to be where this is stored. So we talked about declaring a variable, which is a data type and a variable that causes the compiler to reserve and name a memory location in the computer memory. It's empty. Then the next thing we said that happens in the life of a variable is it assigns that variable, which means it stores or puts something inside that variable. And so the assignment operator, which I better go like this, and let's go like this. So the assignment operator is the thing that's actually going to do the storing of data into that named memory location. So let's go back up here now. By the way, let's go back up to here. The life of a variable, it starts with a declaration, and then it stores contents. That would be like setting the bowl on the counter, that's the declaration, and then assigning it, which means to store something in it, so we're going to pour cereal in the milk. Now, could you imagine your counter is empty? If you were to reverse the order of events, go, okay, I'm going to pour cereal and milk. Now I'm going to bring the bowl out of the counter and out of the cupboard and set it on the counter. Well, that's not going to work. And that's the same exact thing that happens with our Java programs. There's a specific logical order of events. And so you can't assign a variable that does not exist over here. So, for example, in this assignment, if we said, if we called this pet name 2, but we can't store anything in pet name 2 because there is no memory location whose name is pet name 2. So there is an order of how things happen. All right, so let's go back to this line, because this line, when we're talking about this line, we're talking about this line as well, and this line and all that stuff down here. So in here, this line, after the user types Bob, the first thing that happens is this, and I think I'll type it down. I'll type it down here. Let's see, maybe I'll go to here. Reads user input. And let's draw an arrow this part reads user input. The word that tells you that and gives you the clue as to what it does is the word scan. That's why I use the word scan instead of in. I use scan because everybody knows what a scanner does. It reads a barcode. So when you see the word scan, you should think read. When you see the word or see the assignment operator, you should think store. When you see a data type and variable, you should think reserve. Those are things that are helpful if you can know and be able to picture what is actually happening. So I'm not asking you to memorize things without having a picture of them. That way it would make sense. That's why I'm showing you this picture the way it is, to have an image of what's really going on. So this word scan makes sense because it means to read. And so what it does, because we have the import statement and the declaration of the scanner object, and now the application of the scanner object, this part of this line of code recognizes that the user typed Bob. Now, the next thing that happens in this line of code is we have, let's do it like this. Oh, what happened? Now we have this part of the line of code. And so this then, because you see an assignment operator, then you know it's going to store. Well, what's it going to store? What did it just read? It just read the input. Now it's going to take that input and it's going to store it. So we can type in here, I don't know if I'm going to run out of room here, but stores input, user input. All right, this is getting a little bit tight in here. I hope that you're doing okay. Okay, so this stores user input. Right in here. Probably can't see that, but anyways, this part of it stores user input. Because the assignment operator tells you that it's storing, and SIB name 1 is the location where it's being stored. And so what I need you to do then is go over here to this memory location and let's show what the compiler is doing. It stores Bob in there. So now that memory location is storing contents, and specifically it's storing the name or the word, the string, Bob. It's a group of characters. It's a string. It's got a capital B, an O, and a B. Okay, so now it goes to the next line. And see, if you know what it's doing here, then you know, then it's doing everything, it's doing the same thing all the rest of the way down here on these getting user input. So I think I'm gonna go like this and scroll up a little bit here. So we're going to get user input here. We're going to get user input here, here, and here. Oh boy. Well, I can't move that down. I just messed up. And here. And then there's one more down below that I can't see, but I've already put these lines in. This is all getting user input. Here, here, all right, all of this. Notice everything is doing the same idea. It's first prompting. It says, how many days did SIB name 1 run last week? How many total miles did SIB name 1 run last week to the nearest tenth? They're all prompts. It's the same thing. Then the user goes, oh, I got to type a response, and hits enter. And the next line is going to read whatever they typed, and then it's going to store the user input in the variable that's here on the left of the assignment operator. It's that simple. And it's a matter of you getting this into your mind, and as you write code that does this. Okay, so let's see what we want to do here. Okay, so let's just go back up to this line 25 as we go in order. Let's say that the user, and I'm using 3-letter names because it just makes it easier. But let's say that the user types Allie. And let's say here the user, well, okay, so now if the user types Allie, the next line is going to read Allie and it's going to store it in SIB name 2. So you should know what to do right now. What are you going to do as the compiler? Hopefully you would go, okay, I am going to go over here into SIB name 2 and write Allie. Okay, so now that computer's done that. After line 26, we now have these 6 memory locations that have been named, and we put contents in 2 of them because we've had 2 assignments. All right, and so go ahead and do your assignments after I put the user input in here. So we don't know. Remember, as a programmer, you don't know what they're going to type. So I'm just pretending that I'm the user, and I'm going to put something in here. How many days did SIB name 1 run last week? So I'm going to put 3 days. So you got to go put this where it belongs. And in this situation, how many days did SIB name 2 run? Well, SIB name 2, name 2 ran 4 days. And let's pretend that how many total miles did SIB name 1 run? and let's say that he ran, let's say he ran 12 miles. And then the one below, which I can move to that now. Okay, good. So let's just go up here. Let's say then this one, let's say the user or the SIB name 2 ran let's just say ran 8 miles, just so we have it different. All right. So by now you should already have stored these things in here. So we have this user input. He typed 3, and so times run SIB1 is where it's stored, and so we're going to put a 3 in here. The next one is SIB name 2, runs 4. The 4 is going to be stored in times run SIB2. $12 miles. So 12 is going to be stored inside of tote my SIB1. Okay, now this is a little bit weird, but even though they type 12, you have to put 12.0. And the reason why is because this is a double. Oh boy, I didn't do that right. Oh, that's right, this is Excel. Okay, so this is a double. And doubles store decimals. So if you, oh boy, this is not letting me do that. So I'm going to have to trick it. Well, I can do it 2 ways. I'm going to go okay. So it types, or it stores 12 as a 12.0. And then the next one is going to be 8 is 8.0. So make sure you write 8.0 and 12.0 in here so that's accurate. Okay, because these are doubles, and these are ints, and these are strings. So here you see the difference between the data that's being stored. The reason why we store this in a string variable is because this is a string. It is a group of characters. The reason we store 3 inside of an int variable is because 3 is an int. It is an integer. And then the reason why we store 12.0 is because this is a double, and doubles refer to decimals. Okay, so now we've got all this code taken care of, where we have reserved memory locations and we've stored data inside them. Now there's one last thing I got to get onto this video before we stop, and that is one other element that's in here is the element of variable call. And so I'm going to scroll this back up here, see if I can fit it in here. This variable call is going to be in here a couple times. So I don't know, I hope you haven't, I don't think you've written anything in here yet. So in here, we're going to go variable call, and that variable call is right here. Now you should recognize this as the name of a variable. And the SIB name 1 means that the compiler is going to go to find SIB name 1. And then it's going to take the contents of SIB name 1 and return it to here. And so what you should write in here is that this is a return value. course, it's got to be blue there. It's a return value. So a variable call, the compiler goes out to the computer memory looking for the name of the variable. That's why we use the name of the variable for a variable call. And then that is returned to where it was called from. So when the printer or when the compiler displays this or prints this, it's going to print, it doesn't print how many days did SIBNAME1 run. It says it'll actually display on the screen how many days did Bob run last week. Now, had the user, instead of typing Bob, typed Phil, then Phil would be stored in here. And so it would print how many days did Phil run last week. So the programmer does not write the name of the individual in here. It writes the name of the variable that is actually storing that name. So this is a variable call, and its return value, in this case, is Bob. So the return value, I don't know where to put this. I'm running out of room. But Bob here, this is the return value. And of a variable call. Now this is important, and the reason I need to finish this up is because this is going to finish the life of the variable. So we declared the memory location. Let's take SIBNAME1. This variable was born with this declaration right here, reserved a memory location. On line, whatever line this is, 22 or whatever, then SIBNAME1 had the name, in this case Bob, stored in it right here. So this was line 15. This is line, I think it's 23. This is line 23. Bob gets stored in there. So it's been declared and assigned. We've set the bowl on the counter and we poured the cereal and the milk in there. Here's the cereal and the milk, Bob. But now we're going to eat it, the cereal, not Bob. So we use a variable call right here. We use a variable call to use the contents. And so the contents are being used. How are the contents being used? They're being displayed on the screen. It's just like eating the cereal. How is the cereal being used? It's been being eaten. That's how it's being used. Alright, so that is the life of a variable, and that's how it's used. If you declare a memory location and you never put anything in it, that's pretty much a waste. If you were to do that with a bowl and just have it sit there, it would be a waste. It would be worth nothing. If you were to pour your cereal in there and milk and then walk away and never eat it, it's like, well, what's the point? So you've got to go the full route here. You don't just declare variables just because you can. No, you declare them so that you can store contents in it. And why do you store contents in it? So that you can use it later on. Why do you set your bowl on the counter? So you can pour cereal in it. Why do you pour cereal and milk in it? So that you can eat it. And that is how this works the rest of the semester. All the time. And so that's what we have going on so far in the Chapter 2F assignment. That takes us down to here, and then we're going to go from here and hopefully learn how to write some code that with using some more data and actually declare some more and assign some more. And so that's it for right now.